birds are the most adventurous travellers of all. Leaving their homelands across the globe, they embark upon epic journeys over immense deserts, along lofty mountain chains, and across turbulent seas. Twice a year, billions of birds migrate vast distances to exploit seasonal variations in food and climate, creating some of the most spectacular phenomena in the natural world. Life in the air has necessitated many adaptations. A sturdy yet lightweight skeleton, a body that becomes aerodynamic during flight, and the wondrous feathers that enable birds to fly and act as effective insulators from the harshest elements, all patterned in striking arrays of colours, shapes and sizes. Migratory soaring birds, such as storks and eagles, have developed other specialised adaptations, including the most efficient way of flying, drawing almost all their energy directly from the sun. As the sun heats the ground in the morning, the earth reflects its heat, and shimmering columns of hot air, thermals, begin to rise. With the ability to detect these thermals, they launch themselves into the air, sailing effortlessly upwards. Then gliding slowly downward until they reach the next thermal, where they rise again. Thus, many birds can fly over 300 kilometers in a single day, almost without flapping a wing. As thermals do not form over bodies of water, soaring birds will congregate at land bridges, where gaps between land masses are narrowest. Thus, birds gather along well-established flyways and through bottlenecks that are dictated by topography and prevailing winds. Over 1.5 million migratory soaring birds of some 37 species use the Rift Valley Red Sea Flyway, the second most important in the world, on their annual round-trip migration between breeding grounds in Eurasia and wintering grounds in sub-Saharan Africa. Egypt, due to its geographical location as the land bridge between these continents, occupies a vital position on this critical flyway, with several important migration bottleneck sites lying within its territory. At Gebel el-Zit, tens of thousands of storks descend to roost for the night before making their daring passage across the Straits of Gubal. In the morning, as thermals rise, they leap into the air, clouding the sky in a dazzling, orchestrated display. Nearby, white pelicans filled their wings with the rising updraft and spiraled upwards in formations known as kettles. Passing out of the thermal currents, they glide downwards. Losing altitude, they start frantically flapping their wings, obsessed with reaching the shores of Sinai. Through a veil of mist, they fly in formation, pressing forward, each bird creating a trail of turbulence that gives the following bird lift. Across the Straits of Gubal lies the southern tip of the Sinai Peninsula, where Ras Mohammed National Park's rugged cliffs tower over fringing coral reefs. Migratory soaring birds stopping to rest converge here in large numbers. In autumn, huge assemblies of storks make up some of the 400,000 birds that pass through Ras Mohammed. Many of them rest on the beaches, while others occupy higher ground in the surrounding desert. Flanking the immense Sinai mountain massif, the El Kar plain stretches for more than 100 kilometers along the Gulf of Suez. It is dissected by numerous wadis that flow down from the mountains into the Gulf. This area is a vital corridor along the flyway, providing space for respite during both the autumn and spring migrations. At the northern end of the Red Sea, the Isthmus of Suez links the Red Sea to the eastern Mediterranean by the Suez Canal. This is one of the most important raptor concentration sites in the world. While most birds pass over Suez at high altitudes without stopping, those that reach the area in the afternoon will settle here to roost and possibly drink or find food. To the south of Suez, along the coastal hills, another spectacle is underway. During their spring migration northwards, raptors also gather at this concentrated bottleneck near a natural spring, El Ain El Sokna. Rising to the challenge, they catch the morning current, forming kettles, circling along the jagged hillsides at magnificent speeds. Buzzards, vultures, and eels unite in this ancient ritual, gliding high into the spring sky in preparation for yet another epic crossing. While soaring birds try to cross the Egyptian desert as quickly as possible, they do need to rest and to sleep. They must exploit any opportunity to replenish vital reserves, stopping at rare natural springs to drink and regain their strength. Some species may remain at these rest stops for the entire season, but most will stay only a few days before moving on. At Bir Milaha, brackish water springs from the ground and meanders quietly through the lush oasis it has created. Water, palms, tamarisks, acacias, and dense marshes provide the birds with nourishment in this hyper-arid desert region. White storks, black storks, and a host of magnificent raptors descend to replenish their energy for the continuation of their marathon journey. Close to the winding stream, our crew built a hide from which to film the wary birds. Steppe eagles, short-toed eagles, and honey buzzards perched nearby. Booted eagles, harriers, and steppe buzzards descended to drink, keeping one eye on the sky, watching for aerial assaults by a hostile kin. Hidden deep in the Red Sea mountains is the oldest monastery in the world. the monastery of St. Anthony, a venerated hermit of this desert, to whom the Lord sent a bird every day, bearing a half loaf of bread. Today, it's the monastery that provides for the birds, with migrants finding refuge in the monastery's verdant garden, on which they descend before dusk. The following morning, they will again ride the thermals heading north. From lofty mountains and winding wadis to coral reefs and pristine islands. Wadi El Gamal National Park encompasses a diverse range of both terrestrial and marine habitats. Here, resident birds share their bounty with migratory species. Migrating raptors descend upon small mountain springs to rest and quench their thirst. Together with park staff and a local guide, we trek up a steep wadi to retrieve the camera traps we set up by several of these springs. Footage reveals that a diversity of resident wildlife depends on these water sources. A Hume's tawny owl bathing at night, rock doves, sand partridges, Bonnelly's eagles and Verreaux's eels are among the area's fascinating residents. But perhaps more significantly, this footage reveals the importance of these desert springs to migratory raptors. Here is evidence that significant numbers of many species, including buzzards, steppe eagles, and short-toed eagles, regularly visit these springs during their migrations. Migrations, mysterious feats of navigation, endurance, and courage. Many birds travel over 10,000 kilometers each way to and from their wintering grounds. While most complete the journey, some individuals do succumb to exhaustion or die from natural causes along the way. These days, they must also confront a rapidly growing number of man-made barriers and threats. Wind farms along the Red Sea coast in Egypt provide clean, renewable energy. However, wind turbines, their associated pylons and power lines, present serious risks of collision and electrocution. Birds could collide with communication towers. Large and less maneuverable species are the most vulnerable. Extensive developments for tourism have been constructed on the Red Sea coast in the past few decades and provide important revenue for the country. Yet, in many places, they stretch uninterrupted over vast distances along the coast, greatly impacting these delicate environments. Here, at Ain Sokna, much of the natural habitat at this important flyway bottleneck has been reclaimed or graded for further expansion. Large numbers of migrating birds perish at poorly managed wastewater treatment facilities. Here, in Sharm el-Sheikh, storks do not fare well, as they largely do in neighbouring Ras Mohammed National Park. Storks frequently descend on the city's water treatment plant and garbage dump, where they are vulnerable to poisoning or injury. Many do not survive. Migratory birds are also being trapped for falconry and shot for sport as trophies and for the trade in stuffed birds. Birds are fundamental elements of the natural world. They are important pollinators and the primary predators of insects and rodents. Their health reflects our own well-being. Yet birds also have direct economic value. Birdwatching offers substantial revenue opportunities along the flyway. Protecting these migratory visitors is in our best interest, and conservation efforts are already underway. the Migratory Soaring Birds project aims to make this flyway safer and is mainstreaming soaring birds considerations into productive sectors. Experts are currently engaging with stakeholders to assist them in reducing risks to avian populations while utilising this untapped resource. Sustainable development provides Egypt with opportunities to profit while conserving its irreplaceable natural heritage. Here at El Gouna, treated wastewater has been utilised to create wetlands that safely attract birds and many birdwatchers. And here, a small desert plantation provides a roosting spot. Welcome respite for migratory soaring birds. Avian migrations have inspired us since time immemorial. Timeless symbols. Throughout history, birds have stimulated our imaginations. They have been accorded a place in religious traditions around the world, celebrated in every culture. These are soaring living legends, archetypes of freedom. As custodians of their epic ancient flyways, it is our responsibility to ensure that these icons do not become the stuff of myth, but continue to inspire future generations.